Happy Friday, everybody, or should we say VIX Crush Friday? You can see VIX is down 7.2%, and you can see what's happening everywhere. NASDAQ, new highs. You can see change in trend. Until yesterday, we had not no new highs, and you can see today higher highs on NASDAQ. You can see S&P 500, new highs, higher highs. Dow Jones, higher highs. Bitcoin, higher highs. Everything is looking bullish, and we got finally change in trend. You can see Nasdaq massive. You can see very nicely this trend line. You can see white trend line broke out, back tested yesterday, and look at this candle, unbelievable candle, breaking out everywhere. And you can see here on triple Qs these yellow gaps. Who are watching my channel, I was telling everybody these are my targets. These gaps will be filled, and I'm looking for new highs, new all-time highs. It's gonna break this previous high by end of this year. I'm looking for still a move of more than 8.5%. New highs I'm looking for on Nasdaq. And if you can see here, if I put NDX chart here, let's quickly go to Nasdaq chart, and let me bring back my indicator. And those who are following me, they know this indicator, and I tell these guys once in a while, every week I share this chart with you, and look what I told you. You can see I was telling you what happens in a bull market. We come between green and red lines, we gather energy and we bounce. Look what happened here. Look at this bull market. Look at this bull market of 2020. We come between green and red lines, we bounce. It's like a gas, a car going on a highway out of gas, come back, refill gas between green and red line, bounce, refill gas, bounce, refill gas, bounce, refill gas, bounce. You can see time and time and time again in a bull market. Come back, refill gas, bounce, refill, bounce, refill, bounce. Again, you can keep looking. You can see always come in this channel, green and red and bounce. And look at what happened just now. Those who are watching, those who follow my channel, they know this chart. Now it's telling this is where we're going to bottom. And look now, we got a refill, bounce. Now where we going? We're going to a new high, guys, new all-time high. And this is tech sector of America. All big tech stocks are here, and very amazing moves. All right, and let's go and do something new now. I will show you how I analyze this chart, how these gaps are filled. Let's do a review together so you learn something today. Okay, you can see 1 hour chart on triple Q. This is cash index of Nasdaq, and you can see here we had a gap down. You can see on this exact date, Friday 15th of September, gap down. So all the gaps which go gap down I mark with yellow, and we can see all the gaps which are gap up. For example, here you can see here on this bull turn here, you can see we had a gap here and we gap up. So all the bottom gaps I mark with green, green gap up here, green gap up here. And look what happened today. We also got a green gap today. So all the gaps up we mark with green, and all the gaps down we mark with yellow. So you can see here, actually I'm going to mark this with green because this is a gap up, and I'm going to get rid of this gap is done now. So now there's another gap here. There are two gaps. There's another gap here around 382, and the third gap here around 385. Those are our next two targets. So from here to the other two gaps, we are from here almost 1.5 to 2% away. Now, one thing to note, all these gaps, 90% of the gaps are filled. So these gaps will be filled. I don't know when it will be filled. Just be mindful of that. So are we going to go first, make a new high and then come back, fill this gap? Or are we going to go come back and fill this gap first and then go high? I don't know. But what what's the trend saying? It's a new high. You can see this new high is made. So we are in a very bullish trend. Even if we come back to fill this gap, that's going to be another opportunity to buy, and then we are heading higher. Okay, market is very tricky. Everybody was thinking that we're going to go down, fill this gap first, then go high. But look at what market makers did. They're just bouncing. Same thing in October. People were thinking bottom is in, and they decided to dump again with the divergence, and then now they are just keeping to rip higher. And this looks like most of the time short covering. So let's look at volume. You can see high volume compared to previous volumes, even triple Qs. Let's quickly go. Actually, this is triple Qs. Nasdaq 100 even slightly higher volume. Okay, so we're going higher on a higher volume, which is very good. So let's go and analyze these hourly gaps. So we have a gap up with green. Let's quickly go to SPY. Let's analyze that. You can see even SPY, this is cash index of S&P 500. So this is also a gap up. So we're going to mark this as green. Let's look at Dow Jones, and you can see Dow Jones Looks like a little bit of gap, not a big gap, but still a little bit of gap left. So we're going to mark it with green, and Russell 2000, no gaps here. All right. And let's quickly do this for all the tech sector. And let's try for Newmont Mine, biggest gold miner, no gaps here. Gold miners, you can see gap down again here. So you can see I'm going to mark these top gaps by yellow line. And that what this means is all these gaps going to eventually touch. And then this is XLK tech sector. We're going to mark it with the green line here. And there's another gap up here, XLE, energy sector, no gaps here. XLV 1 hour chart, no gaps here. XLU utilities, no gaps here. Industrial sector also gap up. So I'm going to mark this with green gap here. And real estate sector, no gaps. Financial sector, no gaps. And KRE regional bank ETF, no gaps. All right. So let's analyze these chart. Let's start with Bitcoin first, and let's go to daily chart. And you can see Bitcoin, what's happening here. And let me bring in this indicator, which is 10 in 1 moving average indicator. And you can see Bitcoin is going higher, and there is still a divergence. Now, if it keeps going higher, it's now back on this resistance area. And this is where I'm expecting Bitcoin to consolidate. And then it's not going to be a straight breakout. You can see here how long it took from here, April to April to now until October, right? 6 months almost. So we were like testing it. So it is possible we can just hang around here, just sideways movement, which will give time to Ethereum and other cryptocurrency to bounce. All right. So do not expect a straight breakout. This is a massive resistance around 40 to 42K. I expect Bitcoin to hold here. And if you'd missed this move, it's fine. Just wait for a dip. Okay. Do not buy blindly. And you can see what happened here. On Thursday, yesterday, we made a new high on a divergent high. What does that mean? RSI is still lower than here. Here, the RSI, this was lower prices than this price. RSI was higher, so price is making higher highs, but RSI is making higher lows. So that means there's a divergence. So Bitcoin is going higher on a lower divergence, on lower momentum. All right. So let's go back to daily chart. So looking for some consolidation. This is not the time to buy Bitcoin. You have to wait for a back test. You can see Bitcoin breakout. It never came for a back test. So you have to be mindful of that. And if I go to Bitcoin futures, let's quickly see BTC. Let me find where it is. You can see Bitcoin futures, CME. Same thing here. If I apply that gap concept, if I hide these EMA lines to find it better. So you can see here, this gap here, this was gap up around 29th of October, Sunday, this gap is not filled. So this gap was filled. You can see this gap up on 5th of November, and they came back and filled this gap. So same way, this gap is also going to be filled. We just don't know when. And also there's another gap here, another gap here. So if I go to daily chart, again, you can see here. So eventually these gaps will be filled. Are we going to get a pullback right now to fill this gap before we go higher? We don't know yet. So let's see if we can get that pullback first before we go higher. We're going to wait for that. But if we get a pullback, that's going to be perfect opportunity to buy. We could even get a deeper pullback to here around 29K, but for now, just wait for it. This is not the time to be bullish. Just wait and consolidate. Wait for a consolidation to occur. It's right in the big resistance area here. So just wait for consolidation to be over before you buying again Bitcoin. Okay. And Ethereum, you can see massive move yesterday, just consolidation. And you can see I marked these lines. I did not change anything. This is around $22,000 and it's right here now. So it's still compared to this previous high, still not make a new high. So it's maybe going to consolidate here. If I add moving averages here, you can see here all this price action is way away from all the moving averages. This is 10 moving average. If I zoom in, green line, 10 moving average, 20 moving average, 50 and 200. Okay, so it's consolidation here will give time for these prices to these moving averages to catch up. And even same thing on Bitcoin, you can see it's way above this green, which is the fastest 10 moving average. It needs to consolidate here. So consolidation is going to be good. So it's going to keep going higher with consolidation, and then all these bottom EMA lines will act as support. So we'll wait for either consolidation or a dip to find support on one of these moving averages. Best case is here around 32K. And for Ethereum, best case could be now the big resistance. Now there's going to be another support box. And how do we draw support box? You can see here, this whole area will now act as a support in this whole area. So anywhere now here around 1800 to, so any dip we get here, that's going to act as a massive support. You can see this whole area we just broke out, and that's going to act as first support, and then second support is this bottom area, which you can see very well also here. All right, So that's on crypto. And same thing on crypto. You can see all the altcoins are bouncing. You can see now CRO coin 15% up. Okay, this is one of the biggest stock, not stock, like exchange, and they also have their own card. I do hold a CRO. If you want to register for CRO, there's a link for CRO exchange, and you can use my referral link. You get $25 reward for free. So you can sign up using link in the description of this video, and you can even see Atom, all these crypto coins. These are my favorite coins are bouncing. Look at this guy, Luna, 76% pump, unbelievable, 76% pump, and right now on resistance above 200 SMA, breaking out everywhere is just breaking out, massive, massive, massive moves. All right, guys. So crypto is good. Bitcoin is consolidating, and that's going to help all altcoins to bounce, and that's what I'm expecting now. All right, so now we are done with crypto. So let's quickly go to VIX. VIX is crushing, and those who are following me, they know I'm looking for more dump, looking for new lows, looking for VIX to drop below 12, and that will happen definitely. Okay, and yesterday's move was just a fake out move on S&P 500. You can see here we had a breakout, back tested, and now we are breaking out again. We found support on this 50 daily SMA line, red line. We broke out resistance and now bouncing. And on SPY, same thing here. You can see a little bit different. You can see resistance here. We sold off. People thought we'd be going down. We're going to break down. People thought we're going to go all the way down, fill all these gaps, and look what they did. They just gave this only this gap, and now they're bouncing. Okay, we break out. So now we are breaking how many days? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row above 50 daily SMA. Very, very bullish. Okay, now these targets are other two gap fills. Those are our targets on the top side. Triple Qs, NASDAQ, and you can see gap up again, and we got fill this gap. And yesterday, if you watch my video, I was saying this is what I would expect. I want this to hold here. So we broke out, we back tested this line, trend line, and now we're going higher, and now we're going to new highs. We are almost like from here, previous high, which is here. How far are we? We are just 2.5% away. So we can even close this in one day if we get a bullish move, 1 or 2 days. That's what we are looking for. All right, so everything is good. And we can just remember, worst case, we could come a little bit lower. Okay, we still have this gap. So just remember, even if we come back lower to fill this gap, look to buy. Okay, but any case, longer term, we are looking for higher prices. So keep that in mind. Dow Jones, you can see another gap up. The targets are here, three gaps here up. So everything is same, new highs compared to previous high, back test, broke out, back test this trend line, and now we are bouncing. All right, so everything is same on Dow Jones. RWM is the weakest. I was expecting this gap to fill. We came very close, still did not fill this gap. We can still come down, fill this gap around 165. So look to buy on this gap fill on IWM as well. Let's look at gold. Gold miners, gold looking a bit weaker, but we are back in this area. This is a whole support area. This is where I expect gold to bounce. And you can this 200 SMA dark blue line, but gold is finding support right here. This is where you want to buy gold if you want to be, if you're bullish on currencies. Gold, this is where you want to buy gold. Very nice. This is also an uptrend. You can see higher high. Now we are setting up a higher low compared to this previous low. You can see all these. This is a big support area here. This is where you want to buy gold if you like cryptocurrency. Sorry, not crypto. If you like metals, okay. Silver also massive support area here. You want to buy silver right here. This is where I would be preferring to buy silver. And natural gas came again. We're coming to finding support on this 50 SMA red line. Could go a little bit more lower. That's quite possible. On this trend line, that could be perfect by around $3. That's what I'm looking for at minimum. And you can see massive nice trend line. So seasonality wise, natural gas is going to be a bit weaker, but you should buy for the long run. Crude oil up 2%, below, making a bear flag, maybe below 200 SMA, this dark blue line. This was support area, could go a little bit lower, around $73, and that will be a massive support. The next support, if it breaks down, it's going to be around $65. I'm a little bit bearish on oil longer term. And dollar index, you can see it's making lower low. You can see this low is lower than this low, and this low is lower than this low, and now I'm expecting a dump. That's going to be bullish for gold, Bitcoin, and all the other stocks. All right, let's quickly look at stocks. Apple, massive, massive, massive pump, guys. Massive pump, looking for new all-time highs. Nothing else is bearish about this chart. Even if you get a pullback, it's all good. We're looking for new highs. Tesla, again consolidating. This gap is filled. You can see 1 hour chart. This gap is filled. So I was expecting this gap to fill. Those who watch my channel, you can see this projection was here. And go back to daily, there's no gap now. So this gap is done. So I'm looking for massive moves now. This first gap is around, so from here, we're looking for a couple of gaps. First gap is around 3%, second gap is around 13% away. So these two gaps, if you can hold Tesla for the end of the year, looking at 13% bump, okay? So that's not bad. Netflix, very good move. Just keep going higher after massive earnings, targeting 475 and 509. Microsoft, new high on Microsoft, guys. Unbelievable. No pullbacks, unbelievable on Microsoft. And dividend is coming on 15th of November. No divergence. You can see new high and no and new RSI. Very overbought. You can see this one very overbought. So dark blue, dark light, light, sorry, light green lines background. This is perfect area to take profits, but is this just a start? This is a new high. Microsoft is starting a new bull trend, so be very careful shorting. Look to buy on the all the pullbacks. Google massive pump, finding resistance on this 50 daily SMA line. Any pullbacks, look to buy. But if it closes above this 50 SMA line, right where it closed, we need to see a close above that. There's a gap around 140. That's your next target. Meta, Facebook, also looking for new highs. Double top, is it going to be double top, or are we going to go hit 357? To be seen, but we keep going higher on a divergence on RSI. But if we keep going higher, this is going to be burned, okay? RSI will be burned, but for now there is divergence, so just a little bit careful on this. Amazon, again, very close to the gap fill here, around 144, 145 snowflakes. Also just doing a flag here, gapped up after there's earnings on DBA, another similar stock that was up 25%. This just pumped and also looking very good, bullish. This consolidating. Today closed above this 200 SMA line. There are two gaps from here. Those are our targets. So from here, it can go first gap 9%, second gap 15% away. NVDA, getting ready for a new high, okay, getting ready for a new high, and this is going to be green because it's a gap up, so looking for higher prices. AMD, massive candle, look at this, guys, almost 4.5% up, and nothing is bearish on this chart. Toronto Stock Exchange just consolidating. This gap is filled, so you can delete this. Now there's another gap here around 19091. See if we're gonna come all the way down, we will see. And Hang Seng Index also on the support here. You can see this support still, I think there's a gap here. Why I have this green? Looks like there was a gap here. You can see this gap is still not filled. So looking for a little bit more lower, fill this gap before we go higher. All right, so that's what I'm looking for. Hang Seng Index. Let's look at bonds. Bonds was red, back testing this trend line. We broke out, back testing. We're getting ready for a pump. Copper in the buy zone, nothing to say here. Look to buy copper. All the dips you should be looking to buy. And palladium keep going higher, capitulating right now, but it's on a massive support. This is where you can see massive support area, capitulation happening right now. This is going to eventually end. So maybe wait for it for some structure to form. This looks like a falling knife. So wait for some consolidation. This is the area it should be bottoming. That's what I'm expecting. PALL is the ETF. If you're interested, wheat back on the support, 50 daily SMA, and then still not able to break out, back testing the support and right on the buy zone here. Corn, new lows below all the moving averages, and you can see new low, but still a little bit divergence on RSI. So let's see, going lower on a momentum. So you have to wait for it to now this thing which was support is turned into resistance, so we're going to make it a bit red. So a little bit bearish on corn right now. So that's how things go. Soybeans coming to support area, look to buy. This should be looking to buy here on back test of this. Sugar, again, doing exactly what I was thinking. So looking for a little bit more low prices on this trend line is perfect buy. And let's look at gold, Lumon mine, biggest gold miner, consolidating today, ended up green on a divergence, new low on a divergence. Dividends are coming 29th of October, so just going low on a divergence. So I think I'm expecting a massive move at some point. I don't know when. There are all these gaps on the yellow lines on the upside. Gold miners, this gap is still, is it filled? Let's quickly go to 1 hour chart. This gap is left here. Looks like this gap is filled, so I can delete this now. So this gap is done. So let's go back to daily chart. Now this gap is filled. Looking for all these upside gaps to fill from now on. XLK, wow, massive move. Looking for new highs. Nothing to say here. This is tech sector, just going higher on massive move. XLE, energy sector. Now this is where it should be bottoming. This is the area you can see here. This whole area, massive support here. You can see if this is where you should be looking for support on energy sector. So good area to buy. XLV, healthcare. Wait for it to close above this trend line, just consolidating. This could be a reversal candle. We'll see. XLU utility sector right in the support area, buy zone. Look to buy utilities here. XLI industrial, gap up. Are we going to come fill this gap? I don't know. Or we're going to just go fill this gap, other gap to be seen. There are all these yellow gaps to be filled on the upside. Real estate sector right in the buy zone. I don't think we're going to come all the way down, but this is the only dip probably we're going to get. And we're going higher. Financial sector doing a flag. Looking for this gap still 33.37 to fill before we go higher. Let's see how it goes. KRE regional bank ETF looking for this gap to fill, kind of 0.56 up, but let's see if we can fill this gap before we go higher. All right. And that's about it, guys. If you like the channel, if you like the content, hit the like button. Also, short term, you can see we are very, very oversold, overbought. Sorry, you can see if you want to join my channel, you want to join. There's a Discord group link to the description of this channel, and you can join the server free where you can chat with other traders. There's a link in the description, and you can see what's happening here. These indicators, I share this pre-market with my private channel group. You can see we were in the buy zone here yesterday, and then day before I was telling people to buy, and look what happened, buy zone to sell zone. Now we're in the sell zone. You should be looking to sell here. Yeah, same thing on Nasdaq. You can see here we are in the buy zone from last two days, and now we came near third standard deviation, massive, massive moves, and this is where you should be looking to sell. Perfect area to sell here. And Dow Jones, same thing, from buy zone to sell zone, and even Russell 2000 buy zone to sell zone. Gold is in the buy zone, guys. Gold is where you should be looking to buy gold and gold miners. All these stocks you can see here. Newmont Mine in the green lines, buy zone, gold miners, GDX in the buy zone. So you can see this indicator perfectly predicts, and this is this predicting that we could have a short-term top, and we are looking for a pullback, and you should be looking to sell and take all the profits here. All right, guys, I wish you a happy weekend and happy Remembrance Day for all the people who fought hard for us. And I wish you a good rest of the day. And please hit the like button on your way out. Have a good one. Bye.